Hello friends, today also we are going to deal with UGC Net Paper 1, that is the people, development and environment. So today we discuss two subtopics, that is the impact of pollution on human health, how the pollution affects the human health, and the natural hazards and disaster mitigation strategies. These are the subtopics we are going to discuss today. So let us start our class. Impact of pollution on human health. You want to see, what are the different kinds of pollutions, how it is affecting the human health. First one is the air pollution. Air pollution, we know when the air is polluted, it will affect the health of the human beings. First it affect our lungs. So first one is the breathing problem. Breathing problem, because we want to get the oxygen from the air. So if air is polluted, what happens is that breathing problem usually occurs. That's the first one. Next is carcinogenous diseases. Carcinogenous diseases means cancer. So cancer related diseases can be caused to the people. There is lung cancer, like that cancers can be affect to the human beings. Next is cough. Cough, wheezing, heart problem. These are the different diseases that can affect through the air pollution. Next is air global warming. There is global warming. We know that the carbon dioxide is increasing in the atmosphere. Usually what happens, we need the oxygen, but instead of carbon dioxide is more, it will affect the health of the human being, as well as the temperature of the atmosphere increases, then also it will affect the human beings. So the next, that is the global warming. Next is affect the immune system. Every human beings have a good immune system, that is protect from the bacteria and virus and all these things. The immune system work inside all human beings. What happens is that due to the air pollution, the immune system lose its power, and what happens is that the human beings will get different kinds of diseases. That is the next problem. Next is affect the food chain. We have a food chain in the ecosystem. So food chain, that there is the plants are the first consumers, and from that eat the people, that is herbivorous is there, carnivorous is there, like that there is a food chain is there. So what happens is that due to the air pollution, all the animals and the food chain will break. So these all are the impact of the air pollution in the human beings. Next is water pollution. Water pollution. What are the effect of the marine water pollution? It is connected to the water. What happens is that when the factories will throw away their wastes to the water, what happens is that it affects the marine life. That is, the living organism in the seas get affected. That is the first thing. Next is by the rivers or something. If the pollution is getting to that rivers, what happens is that when the human beings are using the water of the river or from other sources, what happen is that they will get the typhoid, liver diseases, kidney diseases. Then gastrocentric diseases, diarrhea, all this will affect the human beings. Next is land pollution. What is land pollution? That is, yeah, I told in the earlier video itself about some of the land pollutions. Here also we have to discuss about it. That is, the first one is the deforestation. That is cutting down of the trees. Cutting down the trees, what happens is that if it affects the rain cycle. We know that by the water is getting evaporated, and later it will come down as rain. And when the trees are cut down, what happens is that the rain become less, and so it will affect the living beings of the earth. So that is, the land pollution will affect in this way. Next is global warming, that we have discussed already. There is a CO2 will increases when we cut down the trees. Only the trees is taking in the carbon dioxide. If we cut down the trees, what happens is that the carbon dioxide level increases. Next is climate change. When the carbon dioxide increases, what happens? The climate will change. It becomes too hot for us to live. Next is skin cancer. It causes different kinds of skin cancer, respiratory problems related to this. All this will happen when land pollution occurs. Next is noise pollution. Noise pollution, if there is high sound system is there, it affect the emotional behavior. We get a different kinds of emotional problem. We get a high tempered sometimes. We will get emotions. Emotions will get thrown out in a different way. So noise pollution is very dangerous. So that is why we heard about the vehicles when reaching at the hospital sector area, they have to what happened, the noise, they should not horn before the hospitals and all. We know that sirens and all this should be away from the hospital sector. We might have heard about it because it will affect the patients. So it will affect the emotional behavior. It increases the stress of the people. The BP will increases. It will cause for the heart failure. Okay, the brain diseases. All this can be occurred due to the noise pollution. Next is radioactivity. Radioactivity, you know that it's very highly dangerous thing. That is by we have the nuclear energy is there, producing is there, so nuclear plants are there also. When the radioactivity will come out of it, what happens is that it damage our DNA, it will affect our biological system itself, and skin irritation can be happen, then cancer, lung diseases can happen, loss of hair, bruise bleeding means inside bleeding, where blood vessels get rupturing inside us due to some kind of injuries and all. This is called bruise bleeding. So such things will happen in the case of radioactivity. And next is subtopics. Okay, so I think you get an idea about how the different kinds of pollutions are affecting the human beings in different ways. So how we can prevent it? That is what we are discussing next. Okay, that is natural hazards. What are the natural hazards before us, and how we can stop it? Disaster management. That is mitigation strategies. Mitigation means how we can prevent it. That is what we are going to discuss now. First one is mitigation. What is mitigation? The meaning, word meaning. Okay, action that prevent risk of life. That is, we know the human beings have to live freely and happily and independently in the earth. So, how we can prevent the risk happening to them? That is first we have to call as mitigation. Next is proper social economic activities is needed. You know what is meant by here? That is the area, that is panchayat or municipality or city or urban areas, whoever it is, they have to do some kind of actions to stop different kinds of natural hazards. That is proper social as well as economic activities has to be happen. Next is example, adopting zoning. Adopting zoning means in the urban areas. Okay, in the urban areas they will divide the urban areas into different zones and do different kinds of implements. They do different kinds of implementations to develop that area. This is known as adopting zoning. Okay, evacuation is, that is evacuate means we have to make the people to move away from that area. That is what we called as evacuation. And that is another type of method. If earthquake and all these things are there, we evacuate the people. Okay, fire is there, we evacuate the people. Next is building codes. Building codes means for building up the we know that flats and all, there is some kind of rules and regulations for the areas. If it is it should not be more near to the river areas, and it should not be in the hilly areas like that. There is a lot of codes related to it. There is building rules. Okay, such codes are using for the to prevent problems related to it. Next is land use practices, related to the different kinds of land. Yet agriculture area is the deserted areas is the forest areas the. So there is different kinds of rules related to it. So different practices, different kinds of methods are using in different areas to make them better for the living. Okay, this is known as mitigation. So mitigation is the action to make the life more happy, away from the risk. Okay. So next is earthquake. Okay, to how we can prevent the earthquake. We know that it is not possible to stop the earthquake. So what we can do is that we have to escape from it. For how we can escape, by building the code. Building code means, I told you, though we heard about the earthquake is affecting in Japan. So they are building their building code is very different. Okay, what they do is that they made the materials is of lighter areas, and we know that they make some kind of proper methods for that. So like the building codes is available for escaping from this kind of earthquakes. Next is capacity for building to fight seismic waves. Seismic waves means that is earthquake waves. Okay, so building should be built in such a manner. Next is restrain and brace. That is it is a framework. Okay, brace means a framework. Restrain and brace is the different kinds of framework. Anchor, it is also different kinds of method of building the buildings for escape from the earthquakes. Okay, different frames of work. Okay, for getting escape from the earthquake. So those areas which is always affected, you have heard of the Pacific area. It is known as the Ring of Fire. That is always volcanic eruptions is the related to that. There is sometimes there comes the earthquakes. Okay, so what the people do in Indonesia, we heard that usually they have earthquakes there. So in such areas, what they do is that they build there is some kind of building codes is available for the people. So they have to build according to that rules. Okay, so they can escape from the seismic waves. Next is tsunami. Develop evacuation plan. That is the only method we can do. We cannot stop tsunami. Okay, what we can do is that we can evacuate the people. Evacuate means move the people from that area. Find a safe location. Make them to live in some safest area where the tsunami should not be hit. Like that is 50 feet above sea level. That is from not near to the sea. The people has to live away from the sea level. That is what they ask for. So these are the some methods to escape from tsunami. It is also a natural hazard. Okay, earthquake is a natural hazard. Tsunami is a natural hazard. So we are talking about the different natural hazards and how we can stop. We can prevent it. We cannot stop it. We can prevent it. Okay, that is we are doing here. Next is volcanic eruption. Evacuation plan. Volcanic eruption we can stop. We cannot stop it. So we can do only one method is that we can evacuate the people. Evacuate means move the people away from that area. Next is flood. Okay, reduce potential for future damage and economic losses. So that is potential. What we have to do if the flood is coming in every year or it's happening, we can do is that we know that in India, Assam, we know Arunachal and Assam, these areas, the flood is always occurring there because of this Brahmaputra and all. So what they do is that they make the houses according to that level. They build on the bamboos and all. Okay, so reduce the potential for future damages. They try to stop the more damages. Okay, that what they can do. So economically, losses can be bring to the least level. Next is evacuation. Make the people, if the flood is always happening there, what we can do is that make the people to live away from that area. Then elevation means make the area high. Okay, by using some kinds of sand, then bricks, and like that they elevate the area. Then flood barriers, walls, or burns. That is building up of barrier walls or burns in different areas. So the water should not hit in a striking way. So that is only the other method to stop some kind of flood. Next is wild land urban interface fire. We know that we heard about the fire is happening in different areas. Amazon, we heard about the fire breakout, and like that. So it will affect the whole of the wildlife areas, and the smoke coming from that areas is very difficult. It causes a lot of health problems to the areas related to that areas. So what we can do is that if they broke out, what we can before happening any problem, we have to evacuate the people from that area. Then fire resistant works we have to do. We can put out the fire. So what we can do before fire resistant things we have to develop. All these things we have to do for to stop the wildfire in different areas. Next is landslide. Landslide, no, you know, that a lot of people are dying due to landslide. Slope stabilization. You know, the slope is getting down to it. Okay, so what we can do, burns. That is burn means in between strong areas are building up, and slope stabilization by using some kind of concreting and all that we have to make the area more strong. Then bead watering is also another method to stop. Not we can stop, we can prevent. Okay, we can make it less by using these methods for the landslidings, and has to be we can some way we can escape from it. Okay, what we can do is that slope stabilization, berms, and bead watering are the methods for doing all this. Okay, so these all belong to the different kinds of natural hazards. So I think today you get an idea about the how the pollutions are affecting the human health. Different areas we have discussed now. Okay, how it is affecting air pollution, noise pollution, all these pollutions, how it is affecting the human health. We have discussed, and we also discussed about how the natural hazards can be prevented. We cannot stop it. We can prevent it by using different methods. So this we have to know about because it is in our syllabus area. So they will ask some questions sometimes. Okay, it's a less focused area. Still, we have to know about it. So you must know about all these things. You just go through it, study all these areas. Okay, at least you know about it. That is very important. And don't forget to subscribe this channel. And it is free of cost. Okay, don't worry. So we can meet in the next class. Have a good day for all of you. Goodbye. Thank you.